Dreaming of a successful and comfortable life for your family and future generations has become a longing desire for everyone around the world. The concept of the American dream, according to author and professor at the University of London, Sarah Churchwell, is defined as an ideal that every citizen of the United States should have an equal opportunity to achieve success and prosperity through hard work, determination, and initiative. This notion provides a beacon of hope for security and economic prosperity for all American citizens. Good morning. My name is Natalia Arias, and today I will be talking about the positive impacts of the American dream on Hispanic immigrants. As immigration to the United States has exponentially increased over the past decade from all over the world, Hispanic and Latino immigrants have been reported as the highest percentage of U.S. immigrants, with 44%, all bearing from countries such as Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, and many more. With this knowledge, I bring attention to the question: to what extent has the concept of the American dream positively influenced Hispanic immigrants in the United States? After research, I argue that the American dream has positively impacted Hispanic immigrants by introducing them to a positive mindset about their future, economic stability, and superior education and opportunities despite negative standard and conventional images set upon them. For starters, Hispanic immigrants upon their arrival have shown remarkable resilience and an unwavering sense of hope. According to an American photographer and writer, Chris Arnott, he was able to document and observe new immigrants and commented that despite living in poverty, I found this attitude all over and can give example after example of immigrants who, despite having little money, were happy. This observation highlights a fascinating aspect of the belief in the American dream, presented a contented attitude leading their family into a new life with new opportunities. Immigrants know the struggle of maintaining and adapting to a completely different country with an unknown language and a dissimilar culture more than anyone. Residents from third world countries shifting into the reality of first world countries, such as the United States, consider this a major achievement considering the amount of hard work, economic supply, and the time it takes to successfully do so. Those who haven't experienced such life-changing decisions as these, for example, born and raised Americans, are less likely to believe that hard work will guarantee success due to their adaptations to first world countries, but not knowing the challenges faced in Hispanic nations or any other underdeveloped countries. According to this chart by author Mark Hugo Lopez, a total of 77% of Hispanics believe that with the idea of the American dream, you can get ahead with hard work, determination, and dedication. You can get ahead in life. In contrary to only 62% of the general U.S. population believing the same thing. In the chart beside it, it shows that 72% of Hispanics responded that their children's future will be much better or somewhat better than theirs because they show diligence towards their child's futures and want them to live a more comfortable life without stress or worry. This demonstrates the immense impact the American dream has on families and their children. Although some might believe that the American dream is a myth and people go to unreasonable reaches to fulfill nothing, there are a few examples of successful immigrants who were able to accomplish this long-awaited dream. The current CEO of Google and Alphabet, Sundar Pichai, commented, "People would take me seriously for my ideas, not because of who I was or where I came from. It's the remarkable thing about America we take for granted, that I could come and after day one, my opinions mattered." This shows a sensational example of an immigrant who once started with nothing and was able to work his way up into becoming CEO of one of the most prestigious companies in the world, legibly making the American dream an accomplishable thing to do and a great example for those who need the motivation to do so. Second of all, ever since the American dream became an accomplishable goal, Hispanics have been working harder than ever to create the empires to support them and future generations. And due to the myriad of opportunities in the United States, they are able to reach the economic stability they could have only dreamed of in their home countries. According to Richard Stanfield, a professor at Rutgers University, the number of Hispanic-owned businesses has grown at rates far exceeding the growth rate for all U.S. businesses over the past 2 decades. This demonstrates that the American dream empowers Hispanic immigrants to fulfill their potential and positively impact both their own lives and broader societies, and can be accomplished no matter their race or ethnicity. As predicted of the American dream becoming a reality in the 21st century, according to the graph by researcher Kevin Dulina, the U.S. labor force growth rate has slowed over the past couple of decades, and the growth that has occurred is largely due to the increasing number of Hispanic workers that dedicate their life working towards the goal of freedom. It is projected that by 2030, there will be approximately 5,032 more Hispanic workers than non-Hispanic workers. Although the American dream has brought many positive changes to the lives of all Hispanic immigrants, they also tend to face a lot of racism by the U.S. general population. In this chart by Joe Neal, an award-winning scientist, demonstrates that a third, or 37%, experience racial, ethnic slurs, or discrimination of any kind. 33% applying to the workforce, 32% in equal pay, 31% in housing, 27% interacting with police, 20% in healthcare, and many other scenarios where where Hispanic immigrants have been attacked just because they are trying to build their future like everybody else. In the American mind, according to political scientist Samuel Huntington, the persistent inflow of Hispanic immigrants has threatened to divide the United States into two people, two cultures, and two languages. While although these speculations are valid, the American dream has not only benefited immigrants but the country itself as well, by expanding diversity, bringing in new cultures, a more dynamic society, as well as expanding tourism. Adding on, provided by the 2024 AP stimulus, the Confrontation on the Bridge allows us to relate the group of minorities in the picture experiencing tension and conflict against the police force to Hispanic immigrants. As previously mentioned, 27% of Hispanic immigrants have encountered difficulties with law enforcement, and in this picture, they are being stopped in a bridge, and it could potentially represent them crossing borders to begin a new life in a completely different country, but the complications are impeding them to do so. With this being said, the limitations put forward that makes it difficult for the American dream to be successful is the exponential increase of prices in immigration services and attorneys, the possibility of failure transitioning or living in the United States, and discrimination against Hispanic immigrants. Although these limitations will be tough to battle, I propose some solutions, such as creating more organizations that are able to financially help those who don't have the resources to pay for immigration attorneys, increase the chances of residency for those who are in deep need, for example, those that are tied in political violent or economic issues back in their home country, as well as encouraging a more inclusive workplace that diminishes discrimination and negative stereotypes towards these immigrants. Finally, to conclude, the idea of the American dream over the years has shown that it is very beneficial, that it is has very beneficial impacts on the Hispanic immigrants by allowing them to maintain a positive mindset and attitude towards their future, could exponentially increase their economic status to live a more comfortable life, as well as allowing a better educational and job opportunities for their children or themselves or many more generations to come. Thank you.
We got two questions for you. First one, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and then why didn't you use it?
I gathered evidence on the process of the immigration and how and I didn't use it because it definitely depends on where you're coming from or what your situation is, so there's not one valid answer, so I decided to leave it out.
All right. What advice would you have for other people that want to talk about the American dream?
Some advice I propose is that you should really take a good look into the economic aspect, because this is a make or break decision for a lot of Hispanic immigrants that are trying to fulfill the American dream.